Hello guys, Antoine here for Simarchitecture and welcome back to a new video. So as promised, as I told you in the previous video, today we're building on top of Mount Komorebi, which is a secret hidden lot in the new expansion pack, Snowy Escape. You probably already saw the video of Simproved where she's building a huge pagoda on top of this mountain, and I also wanted to build something there, but since she already built a pagoda, I think I had to find something else. So you know my passion for history and for architecture, especially from the 18th century. So I was like, why not getting inspired by the so-called chinoiserie trend, which is, well, how to explain that? So in the 18th century, there was a big trend, like the nobility, the noble people were fascinated and interested in Eastern cultures, like Chinese culture, Japanese culture, and they wanted to have a little part of this area in their own country or in their own estates. So in Europe you will find a lot of palaces or mansions, mostly palaces actually, because it was something really fancy and expensive. You will find like little cabinets, little rooms that are designed after Asian-inspired patterns or items. This is something really common, especially in Northern Europe, but you can also find examples in Spain, especially in the Palacio Real de Aranjuez, also the Royal Palace of Madrid. We have a few examples in France, in the Château de Chantilly. I also think of many different German palaces, but also Swedish palaces, just like Drottningholm near Stockholm, where there's a wonderful Chinese tea house. So yes, this is something that emerged in the 18th century, and now we can find some examples that are still existing. And this was my main inspiration for this build. So I wanted to create a little tea house, which is inspired by Asian architecture, but you can still find, yeah, like European architectural items. Or at least it's like the European vision of Asian architecture. Like it's not how it really looks. It's just the way Europeans want it to look. So it's something that you would never find in Asian countries, of course. But yeah, still it's really interesting, and this a trend that I really like. So for this tea house, I went for a mix of styles. So I use wooden patterns for the exterior with really rich and gilded ornaments made by Alexander. And for the interior, as you will see a little later, I use many items that are not all from Alexander. And by the way, just to help you, I created a link tree, which is linked down below in the description. If you click on it, you will have all the links to all the CC that I'm using. So there's Alexander, the Jim07, Kleefood29, which is a new creator of historical stuff, which is really cool. There's also the Marble Mortal, if I remember well, and the Sim Storyteller. Yes, so there are all links to their content and where to download their content, so it will probably help you. So yes, for the interior, I went for once again, a mix of Asian patterns, items, and European items as well. So the most, let's say, Asian thing is the wallpaper with some, I don't know how, landscapes that are like evocation of Asia, and this big Chinese or Japanese vases that were created by Alexander. But other than that, I think, yes, all the items are rather like Baroque or Rococo. So, yes, as I told you, everything doesn't have to be Chinese or Asian. It has just to feel like it's Asian or Chinese or Japanese or whatever you want. Yes. And also because the items that we get with the new expansion pack are pretty modern. They're not like those so-called chinoiserie, which are, for example, an example of chinoiserie. So European bouts like Ming vases or very precious porcelain vases in Asia, and they brought them back to Europe, and then they mounted those vases in big gilded ornaments that looks pretty rococo. And this is this kind of mixed items that you can find in this. We call them folie. Actually, it's called a folie. So those are those little pavilions that you can find in the park of the palace. So yes, another great example of chinoiserie, and probably the most striking example, is the Royal Brighton Pavilion, located in Brighton, of course, in the UK, which is like a huge chinoiserie. It's just a big palace just inspired by Asia, with a lot of items inspired by Japanese, Chinese culture. You can find a lot of different vases, armchairs, chandeliers, patterns. Everything is inspired by China, but it's not really Chinese. It was made in Europe. So once again, this is the vision of Europeans on Asian culture. Yes, if you're interested in this topic, I encourage you to search on the internet for chinoiserie, which come from, it's a French word actually, but it's used everywhere. Chinoiserie means literally a Chinese thing, you know, something Chinese. It's really interesting, and there are great examples everywhere, especially in Europe. I think in America, no, there aren't any example because it's a little bit too early in the history for existing in America. But yeah, in Europe, pretty much everywhere you will find amazing examples. So now I will let you enjoy the end of the video. But before I go, I just wanted to make you aware of the link tree once again, where you can find all my objects that I'm using. I also linked a Google form where you can send me all your suggestions and ideas for the channel. So I would be really glad to read your ideas and suggestions. And also, and finally, I also created a Utip page, which kind of works like Patreon. Well, actually, if you want to support the channel to help me improve my setup and content, this is the goal of this page. You can donate something or nothing. You can just follow me and not donate anything. I just appreciate any kind of support, and if you want to donate or do whatever, I will be really glad for your help and support. Because this channel is existing for you, and yes, I'm always trying to improve my content, even though I know recently I was not really regular in the way I was publishing and so on, but I really want to come back for real on YouTube. So yes, there's this page, just have a look if you're interested, and if you want to support me, don't hesitate. I will be really happy. And yes, now it's time for me to leave you. So if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.